Okay. Paper has a great future, is what many people say, and this is a slide that I used in one of my presentations in the US. There are more than just reading newspapers, and I want to entertain you a little bit, being this the last presentation of the day, and everything else has been done, and I'm telling you, giving you a few shots about communicating paper recycling. This is the title of my presentation, Communicating Sustainability in the Paper Chain, because this is what we're trying to do in the EcoPaperLoop project, to communicate what sustainability is. So what are we doing here? Mainly as a paper industry today, our biggest challenge is not recycling, is not collection, is not the contaminations, it's the competition with electronic media. This is what really kills our newspapers, what takes away our market shares and so on. As an introduction, I have a little joke that some of you might know.
Emma!
It's about electronic media and what you can do with them.
Emma! Emma! Emma!
Paper has a great future. So this is also something about communicating sustainability, what you can do with paper and what you can do not. And to be more serious, I could also now pull out some life science studies that reading a newspaper on paper is actually more sustainable in most of the cases than reading it on the iPad. Because when you look at ways how to recycle iPads, then you see pictures of those kids burning iPads in the open fields in Ghana and then scratching the precious metals out with their bare feet and so. So this is also a way to communicate sustainability in the paper chain. So this nice guy here, he's one of the causes of the EcoPaperLoop project. Who knows him? Ah, okay. The Slovenians. It's the environmental commissioner Janez Potočnik, and his house published a study in the old days, followed by a statement of the commissioner that too many recyclables still go to landfill, and that the situation is differing a lot in many of the EU countries. And this was also one of the maybe one of the initiators of the EcoPaperLoop project, that there's room for improvement and there's room to improve the situation in different countries and to harmonize the situation, legislation, collection systems between the different countries. Good. And so this project ended up with one of the targets to raise awareness and provide tools to enhance the recyclability of paper products, as well as the collection of paper for recycling in Europe, in the Central Europe region, to secure good quality raw material for the paper industry and reduce the environmental impact. So this is the kind of sustainability that we want to communicate, that we try to communicate for the last 2 years. Others do that as well. So the question is, what can we do better? You know who this is? Communicating sustainability. Does that look familiar to somebody? Does anybody think that he might know the company? That's the company, that's their sustainability report, and they are communicating here on the way to sustainable packaging. So this is nothing new what we are doing here. All the big companies, they also try to communicate their way, what for them in their eyes is sustainable. And I always like the legendary Starbucks example. They have this little brown sleeve that they put around the coffee cup so you don't burn your fingers, and there it's proudly made with 10% recycled content. And then you come here from Europe and you're used to 100% recycled, and then you come to the US and you say, oh, proudly made with 10% recycled content. So sustainability is also a matter of where you stand, where you come from. Yeah? When you start with 0, 10% recycled content is some kind of sustainability. And I think it's in some way it's the same in Europe. It's you have to look where do you start, where is room for improvement. And this is very important, to look in this and that corner. There might be some room for improvement here. There might be all the possible ways already exhausted, but every now and then you find some room for improvement. So here's another example, even paper-related sustainability paper reference guide. It looks like at least Stora Enso, UPM also, yeah, one of these Biofor companies. No, it is not. It is Xerox. Yeah. So they don't produce one single sheet of paper, but they sell very, very much paper with their label on it. Yeah? And so they also publish sustainability guides. So it's also important for us as a paper industry to keep in touch with those guys, because they do a lot for the marketing of paper as a sustainable product. The guys who print on paper actually help the paper industry in communicating that paper is a sustainable product. Good. These are the professional paper communicators. Here, this is the European Recovered Paper Council. 2 tons of paper recycled every second. That's here, this European Recovered Paper Cycle. It's also a way of communicating of websites. And one activity that the CEPI, ERPC lately had looked into shredding. Yeah. Paper in the offices is a resource that is hardly looked at. There are so many office papers that are not channeled into the right recycling process. You can make high quality paper out of it. So CEPI recently started about shredding. How do you properly shred so you can use the content later for paper for recycling? Good. So, and then we have all these surroundings, and then we have to start communication in these Central European region in different languages, and so that's kind of difficult for this project. So what did we do? We tried to do some newsletters, tried to translate them in the different languages, made a website. Today I have sent about 6 or 7 tweets with pictures of the presenters and some key messages out on Twitter. We will have another newsletter next week. We had, you saw that already, many stakeholder dialogues. We will have more video clips. Another one will come even today. We have a flyer outside, EcoPaperLoop at a glance, project portfolio and so on. We had lectures, speakers all around the region. What was quite interesting was this World Cafe. We tried a new way of discussing matters with this World Cafe model. It's a model of communication where you sit together, you have your pins and your little pieces of paper where you write your key messages on, and then you distill the most interesting messages out there about recyclability, about collection strategies, about public awareness, and about legislation. So those were the 4 key issues. But the more interesting, what came out of this World Cafe, and what is something that, let's say, a future generation of EcoPaperLoop has to put into being. That's something that we did not manage in this project, though it would have been nice, to put messages on paper products. Yeah? That you have a newspaper with a small advertisement on the bottom. I'll be back, yeah, to provide you with more news next week. And then, or the same thing on an orange box, for instance, in a supermarket. I'll be back to bring fresh fruit to you next week. And so to raise the awareness among consumers, yeah? Because this is somebody that we hardly get access to. Yeah? It's very difficult for the paper industry to bridge the gap towards the consumer. We can talk to publishers, we can talk to converters, but we cannot address the consumer what happens with our products. Yeah? And there are industries who manage somehow to bridge this gap. The chemical industry has tried with a lot of effort in advertisement to bridge this gap to the consumer, to present themselves as a more sustainable industry that they used to be. And maybe we managed to do something as a paper industry as well when we when we join forces together with our customers to bring over these little messages to the consumer, that they better understand how sustainable and how recyclable the product is that they are actually using in this moment. Good. So back to the recyclability method as an example. This is what Andreas Faul explained to you, and then we try to put it in some nice pictures just to learn that the liquid packaging that we had the nicest pictures of should not be used in communicating that, because it's not the ideal example, as it is a more or less a side way. It's not as much a byproduct. I would say it's even the target product is to recycle the aluminum here for the industry, and not so much the paper. And so it's a completely different process. So it's none of our business, more or less. Good. Still, we have made a little video. We have made lots of pictures and to illustrate how to and to explain how this process of recyclability testing works, how you what kind of information you get out of these neat pictures here, and you can find that on our website. You can find a video on our website that shows how this recyclability method works, and I just show you a few seconds out of that video. It starts with how the packaging looks like. Then it shows you where the adhesives are, for instance, adhesive applications. Yeah, but they're behind the application. There are still adhesives, and the question is here: how do you illustrate to somebody where your issue is, and that it can be a problem? They don't do. They can. You see, we have a dialogue here a little bit that helps also to improve these things, and then you weigh that, and then you put it in the pulper, and you have your mix here, and this is your cleaning step. So doesn't really look like a lab procedure. It looks more like a farm process or so. You just have to wear rubber boots to make it look more appropriate. And then you take a little sample and you move the adhesives. You get these tiny flakes out of, and then dry it properly. So to make this long story short, you get the sample, then you dry it, you dye it. Now you have the black thing, and this is being dried, and here's the white powder that shows you where now the sticky components are still left on this black sheet. Now it has to be baking first, and then it's being skimmed off. Here you go. There you go. This is where you now see the white dots there. So this is also one way of communicating the issues here of paper recycling, and that we tried to make more people familiar with the testing procedure. Another thing that nobody really knows what it is are these arrows. You've seen them before, and you can, no matter where you move them, all you see is figures, and you see some arrows, and nobody understands what this is good for. And for that reason, we took that guy behind the camera and let him explain what is a life cycle analysis. And this is again something that you can find on our website. but it starts with somebody else.
Life cycle analysis is actually about the fate of the products from cradle to grave. This is what is generally done. However, what we believe is that one part of this life cycle analysis is not very well developed. So what we are trying to do in EcoPaperLoop is to open a window on the recyclability and therefore on the last part of the life cycle analysis. This means that we want to understand how, for example, different printing technology will impact on the emission during the paper recycling process, and also how we can calculate this emission. And therefore, since most of the time these data are not available in the normal database that you can find in the software, we really need to develop a new calculation regarding some of these specific emissions.
The way to do a proper LCA is to follow some steps. We have like 4 main steps in doing life cycle assessment. First one is the goal and scope definition. So this is the step where we are actually thinking about system boundaries and functional unit and all those like background information that is needed for doing the LCA, and this is a very crucial phase because it affects all the other stages, all the other phases. And this one we have already done, so this is like our small achievement so far. The next step is collecting data. So as I said previously, in LCA we need to collect data about processing, about the raw materials, and all the data about energy usage of the processing, all the data about energy usage when we are producing the paper, all the data about the paper itself. And when we have it, afterwards we are going to the second phase, which is the inventory analysis. So this involves putting all of those information into the lifecycle assessment software. Because to do lifecycle assessment, you can use a software which much facilitates the calculations.
Yeah, that's like a different representation, because this representation is like more like a tree, and in here we have like the biggest impact, from biggest impact to the smallest impact.
What is our main approach for the LCA study in EcoPaperLoop? Well, in the project we want to study how the properties and the design solution of packaging products can affect the recycling process, in terms especially of environmental behavior. To reach this scope, we need to find a correlation between the results of recyclability test we do in the lab and some proper environmental indicators for the recycling process. Basically, these indicators are energy consumption, the waste production and management, and the possibility of saving pure cellulose.
The final outcome for the consumer, for the interested party in this kind of life cycle assessment, when we have a comparison of two different products, is that you can actually directly see which product is better for the environment from the point of view of specific environmental impact.
Paper is a sustainable product. It comes from renewable resources, it is biodegradable, and when it is correctly designed, it is very easy to recycle. Could you say the same about an iPad? I don't think so.
So, did you understand now what life cycle analysis is all about? If you think there's something missing, then send me an email and I will gather these 3 folks together, and then we will upgrade that a little bit. So this was just our little attempt to give a contribution on explaining life cycle analysis. Good, and this kind of communication we presented at various occasions, and the last of these occasions is today, the final conference here in Poland, and I think that's what I just wanted to give you a little glimpse, a little overview on what we tried in this project. And the problem for communication in this kind of a project is that the minute you have the results, the project is over. And then this is the point when you should actually start communicating, because now you have the results. Now we know from Daniele the life cycle analysis of the newspapers. Now we should start and put the actual examples and add them to this video clip and then communicate the results. So we will try to do that. We will try to add some results to the website and hope that the outcome will be improved by that. Good. So before Graziano finishes his before, I said that means have your seat, relax. We will have a little Santa Claus package here from the organizers. They will show you what they made out of this meeting.
The project idea was really fresh. We did a couple of things that weren't done before, like for instance we prepared and developed a totally new recyclability assessment tool for packaging. So most definitely this project was very innovative.
To enhance the quality of paper for recycling, and this has different aspects. It is about improving the quality of the paper for recycling which is collected. That means improving the collection system, but it also means improving the design of paper products, of packaging.
Actually, I think it was a good choice from our side to have a sort of a mixture to present not only the actual result that we developed within the EcoPaperLoop, but also we invited some external people, some external speakers that were able to add something to our project.
Very proud that we as a Polish institute could be a part of this project.
Yes, for that short period of time, that's really a nice job that you've done. Thank you.